700 local post office operators in the UK are convicted of theft or other charges. They've done nothing wrong, but the software that they use is saying that they did. The Post Office, the UK's National Postal Service, agreed, and the law also agreed. Now, this case is interesting to me because very often us developers, when we're building systems, we make countless small decisions along the way which affect the way a system operates. Many times these small decisions are not even mentioned or considered by the business, the people asking us to build things, but you inevitably think of them as you're building the software. And these low-level decisions can have major consequences. We'll look at how a software system and the insistence of the providers of that software that it could not possibly be wrong caused one of the biggest miscarriages of justice in UK history. I'm Saeed the Codogrammer, and this video is just an introduction to the issue. Let me know in the comments below if you want a more detailed follow-up. And if you're interested in programming, AI, tech, and the business of tech, make sure you subscribe. All right, so let's look at what happened and who was responsible. So the software system responsible was called Horizon, and it was for managing postal services at local post office branches throughout the UK. Now, the post office in the UK doesn't just provide postal services, but provides other services like passport renewals and banking. The Horizon system was built by a subdivision of Fujitsu. In 1999, the software started to be rolled out across branches. Not so long after its introduction, the problem started. When reconciling, it was often found that the postmasters, those running the local post offices, were found to have a shortfall in the system. Royal Mail insisted that the system was correct, and so the postmasters themselves had to make up any shortfalls. Now, as you can imagine, this caused a lot of misery and at least 4 suicides. So what was so wrong with the Horizon technical system? Well, basically it had bugs, and it's pretty much as simple as that. Essentially, there were bugs around consistency. A transaction could be recorded twice, 2 component systems are not synchronized, etc., etc. There are 2 key factors which multiply these problems on a massive scale. One is that it's a completely distributed system with thousands of post offices across the country. And the second is that it processes millions of transactions daily. So even very small bugs can result in quite significant discrepancies. Add to that communication failures across the distributed system, and you can very easily imagine the kind of inconsistencies that would occur across an accounting system. This video from Computerphile goes into quite a lot of detail, so I highly recommend checking it out, and I'll include a link to that in the description below. So who was ultimately responsible? Well, the software was built by Fujitsu, and software has bugs. Even great software has bugs. But Royal Mail were ultimately responsible for how it all operated. And when the problems were reported, it seems they had the attitude that the computer cannot be wrong. And ultimately, I think this is always a problematic situation. When you have multiple reports of bugs or failures, you have to collate them to paint a picture of what's really going on. So where are we now? Well, there's been multiple suicides, court cases, compensation, a former post office boss who is going to hand back their CBE, which is a royal honour, and there's been a TV drama recently aired in the UK on this issue. The TV series has drawn yet more attention to the issue, and now they are looking to overturn any remaining convictions for post office submasters with much greater speed. And if you want more detail going into the kinds of technical issues that the system faced. So what's the outcome of all of this? Well, I think the outcome has to be that justice is served for the people who were so badly affected by all of this. And as much as it can be, the wrong done to them should be righted. I think it's really important to not always assume that a computer system is correct. Its correctness should need to be proved, and proved at the time the issue occurs, not after numerous subsequent bug fixes have been implemented. The official body in the UK for IT professionals, the British Computer Society, have asked for reconsideration of the court's default presumption that computer data is correct, which I wholeheartedly agree with. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and if you want a more detailed follow-up, and if you don't want to be the last to know about important AI, tech, and programming news, then be sure to hit subscribe. Thank you for watching.